I know it is like almost 4 in the morning Eastern Standard Time. So it's 3:41 a.m. Um and up. I'm up, of course, because I'm worried about something that has been bothering me. So I kind of told y'all what happened to me on my podcast because I have two podcasts, one called These Walls Are Thin and one on U42. Um, but I haven't been honest about the situation I'm in and what's going on with me. So I'm sitting over here. I'm distressed. I don't know what to do. I don't know how to do it and when to do it. Um, so the thing is with me is this stresses me out, and this has stressed me out for the past decade or so. So I'm one of those people where I am willing to give people whatever they need. If they need help, I'm willing to give them help. If they need anything, I'm willing to do that. But I haven't been able to give like that because I don't have and I have not received. So I was just thinking about this situation that has happened to me. It happened to me now, it will be 6 years ago. And this situation mirrors what happened to the situation I'm in right now is mirroring what happened to me 6 years ago. Well, I would say 5 years ago. So I'm gonna go ahead and tell you the story. So 5 years ago, I was offered a businessman offered to invest in my business idea. And I was excited because I was like, I really need somebody to invest in my business idea. I have great business ideas and I got great plans to do my business. And so I found myself writing up business plans. I still have these business plans. I still have how much I thought it cost me to do um and I had this all together. And the reason I brought it up, and I'm bringing you this up because this is happening again to me. So far, it's not as devastating as it was the first time, but this time is devastating because it's from somebody I look up to. Anyway, um, so 5 years ago, I there was a businessman that talked to me about investing in my business. So I was excited because I had went to bartending school and I really wanted to put this business out there. I really wanted to do it. I really wanted to go into it, and I was excited um, about it happening. So I'm sitting over here and I'm manifesting this business idea, and then what happened is it was Wednesday, February 1st, 2017. So this all happened after Trump was elected. That's not me blaming Trump. I'm just saying this happened, in a very weird time period of my life. So it was February 1st, 2017. I'm gonna play out the day of how this happened. So I woke up and my great grandmother, that's who I was staying with, my great grandmother, my aunt, and my grandmother all got up to take my great grandmother to the doctor for a doctor's appointment for a checkup. So that day, it felt weird. I was in my room. It felt weird, and I was in and out the living room. I was in my room, coming up with my business plan. Putting together my business plan when it came to my business. And so what happened was I got a call from my aunt about a cousin, one of my family members, one of my cousins, that my aunt clearly, she thought she's like she don't know what happened, but she's like, when your cousin, this is how it's first reported, but that's not what happened. She thought that my cousin had hit her head and she was unresponsive. Um, so my grandmother, my grandmother, my aunt, and my great grandmother all went to the hospital to go see my cousin, and my cousin was with her mom when this happened. So that day was kind of weird. So I was nervous, and so what happened was I got in my car. I remember my car. Got in my car, went to go get something to eat, and I drove by the hospital, and everybody was in the waiting room, and they were waiting. And I was like, "What happened?" They're like, "Well, we don't know what happened. We don't know what went down. It took them a while." And I was like, "Okay." I was like, "Well, I'll come back. Let me know what's going to happen." So we're thinking that she's fine. She's going to wake back up. So that day, I finally got my food, and I remember I was nervous. And when you get a bad feeling in your stomach, and for me, it's a gut feeling. I get gut feelings about stuff. So, you know, my gut bothers me. So I was nervous. So what happened was I went to get something to eat, and I remember it took forever for me to get the food. For some reason that day, and like I normally it's slow to get food at Captain D's anyway in my hometown, but this day it was extremely slow. It was like I was in the line waiting for 30 minutes, 30 to 45 minutes. So I told them I need my money back, and they're like, "Well, we already made your plate." Okay, you made my plate, but you never came out and gave it to me, and I waited for 30 to 45 minutes. They gave me my food, they gave me my money back. So it is what it is. I went home and I started watching this movie. And at 4, that was when I got a call that my cousin had passed. So this day was like crazy. And I'm going to tell you this, February 1st is the worst day ever, because 8 years prior to this February 1st, I was on the phone with a friend, and I'm gonna tell you, 8 years prior to that, I was in high school. So I was a senior in high school, and was 8 years prior. And I was on the phone with a friend, and at the time, it was MySpace we were on. We were not on Twitter. We were not on Instagram. We were on MySpace. We were all on MySpace, and I remember it was as soon as it turned February 1st, there was a bunch of posts that said RIP, RIP, RIP to a classmate of mine. And so I was talking on the phone with my friend. I was like, okay, maybe this is a prank or maybe this is a joke. And I never forget that Monday morning going to school and find out that my classmate actually had passed. So I ain't really too keen about the date of February 1st. I ain't feeling her. She ain't my friend. So we went back to, I went back to, we went back, well, I went back to the hospital, went there, went to go see the family. And of course, her mom was hysterical. She was upset. She was mad. And I was like, oh my God, what the hell is this? What is this? Blah, 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 this, whatever. So me and my mom, what happened was I drove my car back home. My mom picked me up so we can get something to eat, because my mom had anything to eat, because she came straight home from work and went to the hospital. She went straight to the hospital from work. Um, So when I'm in the car, when my mom's in the car, I'm in the house getting, myself together, and we're going to get something to eat at Applebee's. We get in the car, and my mom is on the phone with the businessman. And the businessman is crying. He's hysterical. He's crying, all that. So in the back of my head, I'm like, oh no, I hope he didn't lose anybody too, or whatever whatever happened. So what happened was, he got into a situation where, he was dealing with somebody. He was doing business with somebody, and keep in mind, he already had anxiety and depression, and he already felt some kind of way. So he had anxiety and depression, and he was by himself, and he was coping with this by himself. And he had a few weird things that just started happening. Okay, just weird things started happening around him because he's a successful Black man. What had happened was he had got arrested because he was called a racial slur by someone. So he slapped him, and of course, he got arrested for assault and battery. So what ended up happening was he ended up buying the business out that he was in, and he could no longer invest in my business. Fast forward to 5 years later, I'm dealing with, I'm gonna say, for identity safety, I'm dealing with a businessman. Say he's going to deal with me, and the issue I'm having with this businessman is a contract. Okay, we're supposed to have a contract signed. The contract is supposed to be signed in order for me to work with this person. So, we gonna fast forward. We gonna flash back to last year, where this all started. And I contacted him about doing work, and that I had a podcast, and I want somebody to work with me on my podcast. So he said he would do it. I ain't gonna go into details about anything else. But I remember the main thing was I contacted him, and I said, yeah, I was talking to him, he was talking. So I kept contacting him. The only reason I kept contacting him, and personally, I want him to know this. The only reason I contacted you and kept contacting you is because I never got the contract. I wasn't contracting you because I was obsessed or I was a fan or anything else. I did not contract you for that. Give me a minute. Hold on.